Welcome to another edition of Johnson Day Pool. Now, hit the intro.
Back to when I used to have your
Alrighty, guys, so this is me going to talk about this for one quick second. I really didn't address this before, but I think I stated this before in my recent videos throughout my entirety of the channel. Format. So, why Cartoon Network needs a 22-minute format? Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You look at other networks like the Nickelodeons, the Disneys, now Netflix, Amazon. You know, they're in competition, HBO Max. I even think HBO Max need to look at this, but let's just focus on the Cartoon Network as a whole, and we'll worry about HBO Max later. They're still kind of new, so I don't really know what direction they're going with their certain things, so I'll give them a little break as of right now. They have until later on, and then I'll start getting on their ass. But for now, let's talk about Cartoon Network. So really, Cartoon Network needs the 22-minute format. I think I addressed this multiple times, and I'm probably the main one that states that. Reason being is, I'll give you an example. Shows like Affinity Train, I think, would do better on a 22-minute format than an 11-minute format, due to the fact of how the world building story it works better for certain properties. Now, I know Big Hero 6 was 22 minutes, but they eventually went to 11 minutes, but neither here or there, 22 minutes. The 22-minute format works for a lot of shows, and it just works. Hell, even if you have 11-minute, make a 22-minute show, you still have 11 minutes, but you just put them together, it fills up time. I mean, Teen Titans Go has that luxury to doing that because they got over how many episodes. Steven Universe is another one that I think they screwed the pooch on. Is they really didn't air that show a lot. We discussed this. I discussed this. Held the roundtable discussed this a lot. And those shows you can still play and still use that advertisement. You still use advertising, but you still have it into that 11-minute format, but it's still 22 minutes. The biggest problem with Cartoon Network today, they just don't have the variety. Everything's 11 minutes. Like all the new shows are 11 minutes, but we're like, okay, where's the variety at? Where's the 22 minutes? A lot of this is to Christina Miller's fault in her Goon Squad. If you notice, and I stated this before multiple times, the last show that was 22 minutes that Cartoon Network did, I'm not talking about what they acquired, what they did was Ben 10 Omniverse. That was the last one. And if you remember, Omniverse aired the shit out of one, like when Christina Miller came in 2014, I remember it, I still had cable at the time. They aired all those episodes, the remainder of the episode, the last 2 months. And I'm thinking, oh wow, that's strange. Why would they do that? Come to find out, she was eradicating the 22 minutes. She's trying to get rid of that, so she could put those 11-minute formats of her type of property, her shows. And it failed miserably. You look at all these other networks, granted they were going that route too, but they still knew the 22-minute format has always been a success. It works. You can fill up time. It's always, there's a necessity, it's a need for a 22-minute format due to the fact of time of programming. Cartoon Network didn't see, they just saw all that money they made with Adventure Time, all that money they made with a regular show. They thought, let's go with 11 minutes for all these other shows. It worked for those two. Let's continue doing it. And that's the problem that they have. It failed. They didn't make that much money as the other two shows did. Ratings were dripping down faster than they can bounce back. Teen Titans Go was still bringing them money, but let's be realistic here. Even Stephen Wonderblind ass can tell you, it was drying up as fast as anything else. So I keep saying this before, Cartoon Network needed a 22-minute format to stay relevant and to stay variety, where they are no longer relevant. No one talks about that network no more. It's not even the most talked about network anymore. The people are like, well, Cartoon Network has a bright future. I said, yeah, they do, because certain things they got in the pipeline, but even those new shows they did come back with, like the Ben 10 and Generator Ben and Gen. I'm not really going to look forward to that Ben Gen 10. It's because it's going to be following that format, so I'm not interested in that. Then you got other shows they have, but they didn't tell me it's at 22 minutes. That unicorn warrior crap, that will be 22 minutes because that's Guinea. Guinea will never do 11-minute show, especially something like that. He's gonna do probably a 22-minute show, which works in his favor anyway. But Cartoon Network, why they needed 22 minutes to stay relevant. They need it. They needed to stay relevant on the block. They keep constantly doing these 11 minutes and they suffering for it. Look at the network. Look at the ratings. Just look where it's become. Tom Ishii, you could tell he understands some of that stuff, and I feel like he knows the issue. He knows why people left the block, the network. It's a lot of stuff he has to fix. And I give him credit. He has a tough task because this network is, to me, is beyond saving. I think time has went on. Christina Miller has bled the network out, trying to promote that stupid app. Trying to promote that app, which the app is now a failure because no one even has that app now, especially with HBO Max. So that was a waste of time and money. And it's just, I feel like they really, yeah, it's bad. It's just the direction they went with this was terrible. And a lot of people, I hear this all the time, like I said in my video, they're like, Stuart Snyder's the worst for it. Nah, he didn't kill the network for no app. He didn't kill the ratings. He didn't lose how many millions of viewers to promote one goddamn show. He knew he was from that era of variety. Him, Jim Staples, Betty, all of them were from that era of variety. They knew what worked. They knew what didn't work. If one thing didn't work, they got rid of it. They were stubborn about it, but they got rid of it. And they even admit to it when they were wrong. Granted, they're going to come out and say, yeah, we were wrong. Years later, he came out, did a couple interviews. He did say he was wrong, and he did apologize. He said he was just following what the execs wants, and he thought, hell, other networks can do it, why not? And I understand that. And if you can admit when you're wrong, cool. And even back in the day, I knew what they were doing. Hannah Montana was bringing in so many ratings. They were just killing it. But the problem is they were trying to be Hannah Montana, but not cartoons. And he suffered for that. But he did come out and did some interviews, and if you go out and look for interviews, he did apologize for that. Same thing for Tanami, with canceling Tanami. He apologized for that. That's why they brought it back in 2012 under his regime. So it's like he knew what he was wrong. This broad did not. She did not. She kept doing what she's doing. And that's the thing about females too. I got a girlfriend and love her to death, but she can never admit when she's wrong. And when you try to tell her something, she's like, nah. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to help you out now. But I know how it is. But when they do admit when they're wrong, it might take some time. They'll come to you and tell you, and you look at them like, I said, okay, whatever, But as always, guys, like, subscribe, peace, have a Johnson day. See you guys in the next video.